August the 19th, 2013, 2:00 p.m. in council chambers. We will be going to the agenda and looking at the adoption of previous meeting minutes, committee of the whole minutes from July the 15th, regular open minutes from July the 15th, and public hearing minutes from July the 30th. Is there any input into those minutes in any form? Hearing none, they will be adopted by consensus. Under item C, business arising, there were some comments, and there were some minutes from the COW meeting of this morning, and we are going to deal with those. And we are looking for a resolution to support the Fortis Energy Diet Program. Councillor Rhodes, Councillor Plant. Any discussion on that? This was, we had a presentation today, and I think there's been some, there was a bit of a press release on there on the Fortis Energy Diet, where the town is going to support people applying for energy audits and upgrading their homes. And this could be windows, doors, furnaces, quite a multitude of areas that people can spend some money, and they're eligible for quite a bit of grant money. I think there's up to $6,000 depending on what you're looking at. Probably less for windows and doors and more for furnaces and things like that. So they will come and do an audit on your house. That has a $60 cost, but I believe there's $350 worth of material that you get in shower aerators and insulated covers for your electrical outlets. So there's a value to that, and then the people will come and give you an audit on your house. And even if you don't move forward with it, you'll know where the weaknesses are and how you can potentially save more money, save more power, and help to conserve some of the areas that we derive that power from dams and things like that. So council is going to support that. And is there any other discussion on that? All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Another resolution to deal with that. A resolution to reduce the cost of the initial home energy assessments. This was a suggestion from Fortis, whether council would like to put any money towards that, be that $25 or $50 or whatever it is. So what are council's wishes on that item, please? Councillor Ryan.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, I know they said that they were hoping to get about 70 homes participating. We think we can do better than that, but I would propose that we allocate $1,000 for, say, $10 a home.
Okay, okay.
That would give us 100.
100, okay. That'll be our target. That's our new target?
That's our new target.
Thank you. And seconded by Councillor McCordoff. Any further discussion on that? All in favor? Great. So we will be contributing for that initial audit. And if I have my numbers right, please don't take this to my accountant, but if I have my numbers right, it'll probably move from $60 to $50 then, as I see that. So certainly affordable for people to try to save some energy and save some money. And the third part of that resolution would be that the mayor or a member of council will speak at the community intervention on September the 30th at the Holiday Inn. So Fortis is going to be there on September the 30th from 6 to 8 p.m. and they'll be making their presentation and have a whole lot more of information that the public can come and ask the questions and how does it work and how do I do it and things like that. So we'll just have a member of council there to speak in support of the whole program. So that resolution made by Councillor McCordoff, Rhodes. Any discussion on that? All in favor, opposed, carried. Thank you. Moving into late items, Councillor Rhodes has requested some time under that category for comments regarding the RDOS channel walkway decision that happened last week, and Councillor Rhodes was there in my absence and was a part of that discussion and a part of that vote. So we'll put that under, I guess we'll just put it at the end. We'll put it Sure, under business 6. Motion to adopt the amended agenda, Plant Ryan discussion, hearing none, all in favor. We have our amended agenda, no delegations today. Moving into water matters, water accounts in the amount of $36,831.04 for approval. Councillor Laranjo Morera, any discussion on those accounts or amounts? Hearing none, all in favor. Opposed, carried. That is the water. Correspondence under bylaws. Report 4, form-based zoning approach to implement the Southeast Meadowlark Area Plan. OC Amendment Bylaw 1230.2 2013. OC Amendment Bylaw 1230.13 2013. Zoning Bylaw Amendment number 1085.87 2013. A report from Director of Planning Services, Director Cunningham. And we have had this before us on numerous occasions. Director Cunningham, please.
Yeah. Seem to have misplaced that particular report. Here it is. Okay. Thank you, Jimmy.
That's fine. We've got time.
All righty, that's good. Okay, background. There we go. We're getting there, right? Got this paper, now got the microphone, ready to go. Okay, on June 17th to 13th, staff introduced council to an innovative new form-based zoning approach for implementing the Southeast Meadowlark Area Plan. On July 2nd, Council gave first reading to the bylaw amendment package and directed staff to proceed with a public information meeting and public hearing. On July 15th, a successful public information meeting was held with 12 local attendees. On July 30th, a public hearing was held with 2 attendees. No letters were received. See attached copy of public hearing minutes. Overview. The public input received has generally been favorable. Inputs included queries on how individual properties could be developed, concerns with impacts on residences that would remain, balancing public access and ecological conservation, what around has been called the Kettle Pond, and reverting the name of the latter to its traditional name of Finstag Pond. Council has now been asked to give second and third readings to the following bylaws that make up our form-based zoning approach. 1. Official Community Plan OCP Amendment Bylaw number 123012-213 to amend the Southeast Meadowlark Plan to reflect our agreement with the Agricultural Land Commission for releasing lands from the ALR, and append a 3-dimensional concept plan as a reference for applying intensive residential development permit area guidelines. OCP Amendment Bylaw number 12313213 to add intensive residential development permit area guidelines to the OCP, consisting of general permit guidelines and specific permit guidelines for a number of individual housing types, such as small lot single detached housing with optional carriage homes at the rear, small lot 2-family housing with optional walkout basement suites, row housing with rear or shared parking, 4plexes, and apartment buildings up to 3 stories in height. Third amendment, zoning bylaw amendment number 1085.87-213 to add a new IRD zone for permitting mixed housing types. Please refer to the attached July 2nd report from Land Cunningham, Director of Planning and Development Services, for more information on this bylaw package. Options. 1. Council gives second and third reading. 2. Council requests revisions before proceeding. Or 3. Do not take any action. Staff recommends option number 1.
Thank you. Council, please. Councilor Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I would like to move that we give second and third reading to OCP Amendment Bylaw number 1230.12, 2013 for amending the Southeast Meadowlark Plan. the official community plan amendment bylaw number 1230.13 2013 for adding the intense residential development permit area guidelines, and zoning bylaw amendment number 1085.87 2013 for adding a new IRD zone.
Thank you. And that seconder, Councillor Rhodes. Discussion, please. Councillor Ryan.
Yes, well, we had a very successful information session and a public hearing on this, and I personally, and I think I speak for council, we're very excited about the kinds of neighborhood that is being foreseen in these guidelines for the Richter property, and we did further looking at some of the aspects of that this morning at meetings. So I'm very pleased that we're moving to this point, and very happy to move this motion.
This is quite a new concept basically in North America. So we're sort of excited to be able to bring this to Osoyoos, and it's at the same time that at our committee of the whole meeting today, we are moving forward with looking for some input into getting that Meadowlark area kicked off. So all coming together very nicely. I know it's been a bit of a time frame to it, but of course the economy. When the economy went soft, it certainly didn't help our initiatives for getting this going, but we're looking at it now for sure. Anything else from council? All in favor? Opposed? They have their readings. Another report on a development variance permit, 8312 74th Avenue. Mr. Shannon, please.
Good afternoon, Council. I've got a report here for a development variance permit application number 13-02. And to save a little time, I'm going to move right into the overview. The subject property is Zone C1, downtown commercial, and is located on the corner of 85th Street and 74th Avenue. The subject property is also outlined in red on the air photo that I've included on the next page of this report. Charles Pertel and his wife Joanne DuPont want to open a new restaurant in the building with a total of 50 seats. If they are successful with this variance, they want to construct a 375 square foot addition to the east side of the building, as shown in the diagrams below. Previously, the building was operated as a restaurant called the Chalet Helvetia, and before that it was called the Swiss Chalet. However, for the past few years, it has been used as an office space only. The proposed new restaurant will be larger in size and will include a new modern kitchen and revised floor plan, which I've also included on the site plan on the next page. Lori Baker, she's the property owner, has provided the town with a signed owner authorization form allowing Jelena from GTA Architecture, acting on behalf of her clients Charles Pertel and Joanne DuPont, to be the applicant on record for the required land use applications, which include the development permit, the development variance permit, and the building permit. Council should be advised that a development permit application has also been submitted to the town to allow for the construction of the addition to the east side of the building. The DP will be considered for approval by the Director of Planning and Development Services. For your information, the Commercial Development Permit Area Guidelines of the OCP state that development permits are required for building additions with footprints exceeding 5 meters squared and for exterior alterations that could noticeably alter the appearance of the building. The next page includes a picture of the site plan that's after the renovations, and hopefully it's at a size that you can read it. There's an air photo here that shows the yellow areas on the air folder I'll discuss later are the nearby parking lots, and the shaded area at the bottom is the proposed addition area. A little caption there says the main area of the restaurant has a total of 26 seats. And the shaded area shows the proposed 375-foot squared addition to the building, which would provide an additional 24 seats in an enclosed patio for a total of 50 seats. Under the development variance permit application, as per Schedule 1 of our zoning bylaw, the minimum number of off-street parking stalls required for a large restaurant is 1 parking stall per 4 seats. The applicant has applied for a development variance to reduce the off-street parking requirement associated with a restaurant with 50 seats from 13 stalls to 7 stalls. As per the requirements of the Town of Osoyoos Land Use Procedures Bylaw, development application signage has been placed on the subject property, notifying the public of the pending land use applications. Council policy on considering development variance permits. The proposed variance should be compared against the criteria outlined in Council's policy on considering development variance permits, and that policy is attached to the report. The policy describes 3 main types of criteria to review while considering the application, which include whether, in your opinion, refusal of the variance will result in undue hardship, whether or not the variance may cause significant negative impacts, and the viewpoints of neighbors. As it relates to the above-mentioned criteria, staff offer the following. Number 1, hardship. The requested variance is of the least magnitude necessary to enable reasonable use of the lot. Number 2, impacts. The proposed variance will not result in the inappropriate development of the property. And number 3, viewpoints of the neighbors. Nearby business and property owner on 74th Avenue has provided written support for the proposed variance, and that letter is attached to this report. At the time when this report was placed on the council agenda, this was the only correspondence received by the town, and I don't believe we've received any additional correspondence that I've been made aware of. Staff support the proposed variance because there is an abundance of parking available very close to the proposed restaurant, including the lower portions of Main Street. As shown in yellow, as I mentioned a moment ago, on the air photo above, there are 3 public parking lots located within 1 block radius of the restaurant. They include the parking lot behind Home Hardware, the parking lot on the corner of 87th Street and 74th Avenue, and the parking lot to the east of the car wash. And in addition to this, these nearby parking lots are a total of 4 parking stalls directly abutting the restaurant on 85th Street, and 2 more parking stalls directly fronting the restaurant on 74th Avenue, and they're clearly shown on that site plan as well. Other considerations for council should be advised of the following. Off-street loading. Off-street loading standards in the town zoning bylaw also require developers to provide a loading stall. Council needs to be advised that this requirement has not been included in the calculations for this variance. We're of the opinion that there is an adequate amount of space in front of the existing parking stalls and within the alley to accommodate the types of vehicles that would be serviced in the building. And deliveries can be arranged so that they do not occur during the busy operational times. The second point would be reduced parking requirements. The Town of Osoyoos zoning bylaw also allows restaurants, licensed establishments, or other similar businesses that are only open for business after 5 p.m. to only provide 50% of the required number of parking stalls. However, Charles Patel and Joanne DuPont wish to open a new restaurant that does not have any restrictions on their business license. As it relates to their intended hours of operation, they have advised staff that in the beginning they intend to be open in the evening and later to be open for lunch during the summer season. The third point is payment in lieu of parking. Section 6.7 of the zoning bylaw, payment in lieu of parking, states, any person that applies for a building permit to extend a building or structure for use on a lot within the C1 zone which requires parking to be provided may, at his option, instead of providing the required parking spaces, pay to the town the sum of $10,000 for each parking space required but not provided. This option is not a financially viable option to the property owner or her clients, which is why an application has been made for council's consideration of the development variance permit. Council should be advised that a zoning amendment would be required to reduce the amount of payment in lieu of parking for each parking stall. Downtown parking plan. I'm in the process of conducting a parking survey in the downtown area. The purpose of the survey is to obtain input from business owners related to parking adequacy and needs and suggested improvements. The information collected from this study will be used to develop new parking policies and off-site parking regulations for council's consideration. The likelihood is that we will be recommending to council to reduce the parking requirements for restaurants. And under implications for the community, a new restaurant in the community, commercialization of 74th Avenue corridor and 85th Street. Under organizational, the downtown parking plan. Under budget, $500 application fee was collected, and assessed property values and taxes will increase. Significant dates: the application date of the applicant's submission was August 1st. And sustainability, the revitalization of an existing property. Options for council. Number 1, approve a variance to section 6 of the town zoning bylaw number 1085, 1998 to reduce the off-street parking required for a restaurant located on the subject property with a total of 50 seats from 13 parking stalls to 7 parking stalls. Or option 2, do not approve the variance. Staff recommend option 1. Thank you.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, the chair must give the opportunity to anybody who's here to speak to the variance if they're interested, and I don't know if anybody here is, but that's the procedure.
Is there anybody that would like to make comment? Is there anybody would like to make comment on this development variance permit? I'll do it semi-officially for the 3rd time. Is there anybody that would like to make comment? Hearing none, that period is over. Thank you. Yeah, it's a fairly big variance from 13 to 7, but I think you certainly covered it all in the materials, and it would be great to have that restaurant there and that revitalized. You know, it's could be sitting empty for a while in the current state. So if we have newcomers to town, I thought Charles may have and Joanne may have been here today, but I've had a meeting with them in the office, and I know they've been through the planning department, obviously putting this together. So council's wishes, please. Councilor McCordock.
May I ask a question of Mr. Shannon? On your site plan, there is the view of the restaurant and the 7 parking stalls there. I guess my question is, does that include parking for the people who work there? And that could affect it. Or, I mean, if you had the owners plus some of the workers, there could be 6 or 7 people that would be working in the restaurant, and would they be taking those parking stalls, or are they required to park somewhere else, or is there any kind of a ruling on this?
Well, when we calculate parking requirements under the zoning bylaw, we don't have a requirement that they provide X amount of stalls for employees. It's a requirement for the use in the restaurant. Well, those are considerations that we're looking at in this downtown parking plan, and we're as included in some of the questions in our questionnaire, and we're going to be looking into that for proposed new regulations that will be prepared for council's consideration at a later date. But as our regulations stand right now, no, they're not. And you know, we assume that a lot of people walk to work, live close. It would be shared parking, and in some cases, it'll be parked in the neighborhood or in their own stalls.
Sure.
And I guess also when they're looking at most of the evening hours, there is a lot of parking there with the town, with the couple of 3 town lots really, before we even get into Main Street. And at that hour of the day, there's a lot of availability. Councilor Ryan? Yes,
thank you, Mr. Ryan. I also had a question. In the payment in lieu of parking, the last sentence says that a zoning amendment would be required to reduce the amount of payment. So we're really just giving them a variance now, and that will be another consideration, will it, in future?
I would assume that we will be bringing that back as part of the report on the downtown parking plan, a recommendation to make some adjustments to that figure.
No, I was just wondering whether they are in fact, but with this variance, whether they are being forgiven any kind of in lieu payments for.
If I may, the payment in lieu is an option that the developer has prior to considering the variance. If they wanted to proceed immediately, they have that option. If they want to just purchase the virtual parking stalls up front. In most cases, developers will waive that option and take a chance on trying to get the variance. This application is for the variance, and the way I've worded it in here is that if they wanted to try to amend that, they could apply to vary that figure if they wanted to, but they've chosen to try to vary the parking requirement with support from staff.
Okay, good, thank you.
Councilor Rhodes?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make that motion based on the wording in option number 1.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay. Yep. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Councilor Rhodes?
Well, I'd just like to mention that one of the purposes of having this opportunity to do a variance is to bring forward unique circumstances for certain business entities and private matters that might change things that are already covered by existing bylaws and that. And, I'm aware of circumstances right in that particular area, as a matter of fact, right across the alley where there was a large payment made several years ago for virtual parking. And, often you get confronted with, well, why are you doing it for this person and you didn't do it for the other one? And, the reason why I'm putting this motion forward, of course, and speaking in favor of it, is this is kind of a unique thing. It's different than it was back then. This is a different time. It's years later. Staff has been very diligent at pointing out the logic and common sense of supporting this variance, and I'm speaking in favor of it, and I welcome these people into the community, and hope that this commercial endeavor is something that's very beneficial to us.
Great, thank you. Yeah, it's going to, if it goes ahead, it's going to be a great addition. And back to restaurant again. I was there when it was Swiss Chalet. I was there when it was Chez Helvetia, and the possibility I'll be there. I don't know what they're going to call it yet, but possibility to be there for the 3rd iteration. So kind of neat. Any further discussion from council on this? All in favor? Opposed? They got their variance. Just one small item, Mr. Shannon. In your report, it mentions east, that the addition is going to be on the east side. I would think it's on the south side. If my old Osoyoos, geographical connotation kicks in there.
Good point.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks, Mr. Shannon. Oh, gee, another good one here. Another development variance permit for the Osoyoos Golf Club sign.
Okay, well, I have the report.
Mr. Cunningham.
I have the report sitting in front of me, and I have this gizmo here, so I'm ready to go. I'm presenting this on behalf of Phil Armstrong, who's away on vacation. And the report does have a few twists and turns, so I ask your forbearance on that. Background: on July 15th to 13th, Council denied a signed bylaw variance to allow a billboard on the golf course's leased property, but resolved that it is open to receiving options for alternative sign locations. Overview: 2.1 sign location. Staff and Lee Sapak, General Manager of Osoyoos Golf Club, looked at alternate locations for the billboard sign. 1. The highway right-of-way was ruled out because the Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure would not provide permission. In fact, the RDOS and MOTI are working together to remove third-party signage from along highways. Please refer to the attached email from Jeff Wiseman, Operations Manager. Alternatively, the town could authorize a third-party sign on its own land at the airport. And I must point out that this photograph is a bit misleading. It's obviously a wide-angle lens, and it seems to make the site sort of recede into the distant horizon. You can take my word, I've been out there, and I think it would be a lot more visible than portrayed here. 2.2 sign size and content. The original variance application presented by the golf club was for an 8-foot by 24-foot sign. The copy is shown in black and white to the right. As it turned out, this was an earlier draft, and the color copy to the right is actually what was printed at a cost of $1,500. This copy advertises 3 courses which form part of the South Okanagan Golf Trail, including the Osoyoos Golf Club, Fairview Mountain, and Nick Canyon Desert, as well as the Desert Golf Academy. The golf club understands that council may be looking for a reduction in size that's more in line with the sign bylaws, so they have proposed to cut the copy by 1/3 by only keeping the picture outlined in yellow, as shown in the diagram, which measures 8 feet by 16 feet, which equals 128 square feet. 2.3, council policy in considering development variance permits. Council should compare the proposed variance against the criteria outlined in council's policy on considering DVPs. See attached. Staff offers the following comments. In terms of hardship, is the golf club's requested variance of the least magnitude necessary to meet its rebranding goal? During the recent meeting with the golf club, staff offered to support a sign size of 80 square feet. The sign the golf club now is proposing is over 50% larger. By removing the portion to the left of the sign, the golf club is not clearly identified. Rather than the headline 36-hole championship golf course public welcome is confusing because of the 3 courses identified. Also, the logo on the copy is the old golf course logo, as the sign was printed prior to the logo change. Impacts. Will this create a potentially undesirable precedent for other properties? That's a question that council has to ask themselves. Viewpoints of neighbors. Neighbors are not impacted in this location. They were in a previous one, but not in this one. 3, options. The council grant 2 variances to the sign bylaw for the town's airport property at lot 1013 DL 250S, plan 39476 SDYD. And those are to section 28A, allow third-party signage which is not allowed in any zone. To section 35, allow a freestanding sign with a maximum sign copy area of 111 square meters, 11.9 square meters, which equals 8 by 16 feet equals 128 square feet, compared to the 7.5 square meters square maximum sign copy allowed in a commercial airport zone where the sign would be located. Council, the second option is that council grants the 2 variances but limits the size to 80 square feet or 7.5 square meters of maximum sign copy. This would be in compliance with the freestanding sign provisions of 7.5 square meters in sign copy area in the commercial airport, general commercial, and industrial zones. Also, this would afford the golf club the opportunity to redo the sign copy so it clearly advertises the Osoyoos Golf Club and uses the new logo. Option 3, do not allow the sign. Staff recommends option number 2, and again, I have to say that you have to open it to anybody who may want to comment.
Okay. Is there any member of the public that wishes to comment? Is there any member of the public that wishes to comment? And for the 3rd time, any member of the public that wishes to comment? That opportunity is closed. I'm going to add a comment at the start of the dialogue and debate here. There was a piece of this that was missing that had come before. And, unfortunately, the Osoyoos Golf Course and their staff had already erected the sign on their own property. And as a result of that, it triggered a loss of view from the people that live in Casitas del Sol and Desert Rose. And the people along there in manufactured home houses really had this big sign sticking right up there in front of them, and it wasn't very pleasant. And so we went through a public process in which approximately, I'm going to say 24 of them came forward through letters and communications and did protest the sign going up. And to the credit of the Osoyoos Golf Course, they went there and took that sign down, and they are trying to get something coming into town. They feel that they need that to advertise that it is a public facility rather than so many golf courses are closed facilities these days. So they really wanted to be out there that it is public and that they are welcome. And the golf course is really a big part of Team Osoyoos in my mind, both through the effluent and we have many crossovers back and forth, and I really hope that council sees that we should be allowing them some sort of signage that's up there. But certainly I will turn it over to council for this decision. Councillor Ryan, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, I certainly agree with you. It is important, and we've, I think, council and staff too have worked with them to try to come up with something that works for both of us and which doesn't set any precedent that we're going to be having to deal with in future. So I would like to move recommendation number 2, that we give 2 variances but limit the size to 80 square feet of maximum copy area, and that would bring it into compliance with our signed bylaw for commercial areas. And I think the important comment there too is that they really need to sort of have a second look at the message and make sure that the message that they've crafted is exactly what they want. It's awfully busy at the moment, so that would be my recommendation and my motion that we approve recommendation option number 2.
Thank you. Councillor Rhodes is a seconder. Any further comments on this situation? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. The next item is actually one of the painful days that happens, unfortunately, every year after property tax time. And this is the appeal process for people appealing the penalty on their taxes. I've been on council since 2005. There has never been a successful appeal. There's just too many variations when you start doing that. And we work so hard to try to get that message out there in every form and way possible to please pay your property taxes. And every year there's some sad stories, and they are sad stories. And there's a couple out here that are a part of this report. So Mr. Romanko, I'll let you lead off on this. And this is just like I say, it's a tough day. You almost feel like you want to go up door knocking and make sure to pay your taxes. Make sure you pay your taxes. So over to Mr. Romanko, please.
Thank you, Mayor Wells. This is bringing forward letters of appeal from property owners with respect to the penalties that are applied to their outstanding property taxes. The Town of Osoyoos property tax due date has been established under Section 234 out of the Community Charter using General Tax Collection Scheme of July 2nd, 2013. This bylaw also establishes that a 10% penalty is applied to all unpaid taxes of the current year if the amount or any portion thereof remains unpaid after the due date. The Director of Finance contacted Canada Post at the end of the day on July 2nd, 2013 to ensure all payments received would be processed. The Director of Finance reconciled the property tax accounts and applied the penalties to the outstanding balances. Property tax notices were mailed out in the 3rd week of May. The property tax notice states very clearly in large bold print that a 10% penalty will be charged if not paid by July 2nd due date, and that postmarks are not accepted as proof of payment date. In addition to making a payment by check, the owner has the option of paying online, which would avoid the possibility of a late payment. Staff has always been very diligent in their jobs and always shown courtesy and respect to our taxpayers. The Director of Finance would not question reversing a penalty if staff has made a mistake and have done so in the past. However, it is the owner's responsibility to have their tax payment on time. To consider waiving the penalty on unpaid taxes would contravene our existing bylaw 1301 and would set a very difficult precedent. The town has received 2 letters asking council to reverse their penalty that have been applied to their property tax accounts, and I have summarized each of them with a brief description. One is from the tax folio of Brian McPhail, and a letter was received in relation to this request on July 10th, asking for reversing the penalty. The payment was received on July 22nd. The second folio is that of Kashmir and Virginia Luque. A letter was received on July 18th, asking to reverse the penalty on this property tax. The payment was received July 3rd. Implications: if council denies the request to waive the penalty, they stand behind their bylaw and the rules and regulations behind it. No organizational impacts, no budget impacts, significant dates. Letters would be mailed once a decision is made from council, and 2 options are provided. One is to deny the request to reverse the penalties on the property owner's tax accounts, and the second is to consider reversing the penalty on the specific requests, and the administration recommends denying the requests.
Thank you. Council, please. Councillor Ryan.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to propose, or move if you wish, that we deal with these individually.
Okay, thank you. We can do that. So we'll deal with, what's the first one that we have on the agenda?
Brian McPhail.
That would be Brian McPhail. Okay, could we deal with the appeal on the Brian McPhail issue? Councillor Ryan.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I happen to know of this situation, at least in general, in that this gentleman resided in the same development that I live in. And I guess when I read the line that says, "I never got the original," it would interest me to know what the circumstances were of where it was sent and how she finally found out about it, you know, because I think it's a little bit different. I mean, still the executors, of course, have the responsibility to, you know, notify all the right people, you know, about property and taxes and handle, you know, redirection of mail and all that. But I guess I'm interested to have a few more facts around this situation. And so I guess what I would like to do is propose that we table this for the next meeting and ask for a little more background on the circumstances.
Is there a seconder?
Sure.
Okay. Discussion?
Yeah, thank you. I agree. I think we perhaps need to know, if we're going to consider this, we need to know when the gentleman died and how soon the executress was advised about the work that needed to be done. If it was within the month, then I could see that this would be a concern. But if it was quite some time before that, then I don't think we should consider it.
Councillor Rhodes?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, tough decisions here. However, I am going to speak against the motion. I'm not comfortable with doing that for a wide variety of reasons, but I believe that the estate or the individual that we're talking about was a fairly long-term resident in our community, and should have or may have or whoever is looking after the estate been aware of our closing date on our taxes. And you know, I just, you know, it's one of those kind of things where you just get so emotionally involved, and actually both of these I'm quite emotionally involved in it, but this particular one, you know, I have a hard time when somebody says they don't know about it and didn't get the notice or something like that, because, you know, our staff just puts so much effort into it, and these notices go out, and if it's, the date's never changed, it's always been the same, and I'm just gonna have to work against that. I think I'm full of compassion and emotion and all that kind of stuff, but, you know, at the end of the day, if they weren't aware, they should have been aware, and, you know, I hope I don't sound too cold and clinical about this, but it's kind of the way I feel. There should have been an awareness that this amount was due, and that's kind of the way that I feel about it.
Thanks, Councillor Rhodes. And Councillor Pont?
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of second that. I'm also, I just want to stick to what we've got for our bylaw. I just feel like if we, I don't want to set precedent that we're going to have to start looking at each individual one. I know there's an emotional part to both, and just as Councillor Rhodes said, both of them I look at and like, oh, they're almost heart-wrenching. However, we do set these laws and we do have these bylaws, and I'd like us to stay by those. And I don't want to have to sit here and go through each individual one on an emotional basis. So we have to award those two that have put, you know, they put theirs in for on time, and that's just unfortunately what we've set out for rules. And so I'd like to stick to those. Thank you.
And I guess further to that, I take that position also, mostly because it's such a slippery slope to start going down if we have to start interpreting all these issues and who's going to get waived and who isn't going to get waived, and unfortunately I've sat through some real tear-jerkers here, and it's just too darn bad, but we don't want to go down that road of interpreting people's issues and that. So, Councillor Ryan.
Yes, I think those are all justifiable comments, but I think we have to keep in mind that the motion isn't to forgive it. The motion is simply to defer it and to get a little more information, which you know, often accompanies these kinds of things, but in this case didn't to my satisfaction.
Right. And I think Council understands that too. That but if we get that information, the only one, as Mr. Zackel's report said, was if there was an error on behalf of our staff.
Yeah.
And I think there may be some pencil errors, clerical errors, push the wrong button errors way back. But like I say, I haven't seen one that was allowed since I've been on. So, anything further on that? Could we have the motion read back, please?
Moved by Councillor Ryan and seconded by Councillor McCordoff, and resolved that Council defer decision on the McPhail property tax penalty reversal to the next regular meeting, and that staff obtain further information on the circumstances of the late tax payment.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Opposed? That motion is defeated. So now we'll need a second motion, Councillor Rhodes, Plant, and that motion would be to not grant the deferral. Ms. Van Bienen, that's
That were both of them?
So it will be that Council denies the request to reverse the penalties on both properties?
no, we're still we
On the
put them
McPhail property.
separate, so
Okay.
let's leave them separate.
Yeah.
Okay, so this will be on the McPhail property, and this will be a motion of denial. All in favor? Opposed? That motion carries. Thank you. Now on Casimir and Virginia Luque, looking for a resolution of that situation. Councillor Plant.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I would also move option 1 to deny the request.
Okay, and Councillor Rhodes seconder. Any discussion on this one? All in favor? Opposed? That is carried. A report on the bylaw enforcement park hours. Ms. Van Bienen, please.
Thank you. This report is just for Council information on the number of park and bylaw issues that were dealt with between May 1st and July 19th. Under the parks stats for by number of events, I'll just give you the totals of May, June, and July. Alcohol, 508. Dogs, 540. Smoking, 569. Boats and swimming area, 25. Nuisance, 41. unauthorized selling, 7, traffic, 20, nudity, 5, warnings, 55, for a total of 1,770 events, and that's just from May 1st to July 19th in the parks. For bylaw stats, and this is by number of hours, traffic, 90, complaints, 46, animal, 22, administration, 40, pound, 44, water, 12, unsightly properties, 82, noise, 17, parks, 60, business licensing, 18, and miscellaneous, 26, for a total of bylaw hours of 457. And that's just for council information.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Plant, please.
It's great information. I guess the one question I would have is whether we can do a comparison maybe next time of where we were to last year to this. Just again, just to see how we're how we're doing in maybe the different sections, and if we're being effective, where we're being more effective. Just again to the bylaw officers and what I've seen in the park, they've done a fantastic job this year. So I just like to also put that in there.
You bet, you bet. I think that's a good idea to have a year-over-year comparator, just for that purpose. So we can see the differences, because sometimes there's money differences in there too. Did we have any letters of expulsion this year?
There was one that was written, and I am not sure if it actually got served, because the person has not returned back to the park.
Okay. Well, maybe we can. Maybe it's effective without serving
And
it.
actually, I'm mistaken. There was another one that came in last week.
Okay.
I believe so. There's been 2.
Okay. Thank you. Councillor Rhodes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I want to grab this opportunity to dwell on that third matter down, the smoking. It's a 7-letter word, lots of 569. In this day and age, I just don't get it. It's not only about the time that's spent giving out these, or dealing with these events that are happening. The debris from smoking that is everywhere in our community is. And, all you got to do is go down to that park area across from the Holiday Inn down there, the one that we put so much pride in and so much time, and watch those volunteers on Monday afternoon on their hands and knees with latex gloves on, picking up cigarette butts. You pick up more cigarette butts down there than you do all other litter combined together. It's a lack of respect, and I just, I'm sorry for jumping on this opportunity, but it's such a labor-intensive thing, and it's so easily prevented. Just don't smoke in our parks. It's not right. It's wrong. Don't do it, and you're going to solve so many problems in our community.
Thanks, Councillor Rhodes. Couldn't they have don't some of those leaf blowers, don't they suck also? Couldn't you walk around and just pick up, over the little green ribbon that goes around the cellophane package and all the butts that go with it? Could someone just, then you don't have to bend over?
Well, the drama of watching somebody on their hands and knees is much more effective than picking it up in the vacuum.
Absolutely. Mr. Romanko, please.
Yes, just for council's information, that's one of the areas we want to key in our next year is, again, the no smoking bylaw in the parks has been in effect for a couple of years, and we are noticing exactly that. And I certainly, if you look at Gyro Park and certain key areas, we will be setting up containers, the formal containers, so people can put their butts in and we can deal with them, even though we don't like dealing with them. It's just, it's kind of a natural progression, and we have to look at it. And again, down at the Pioneer Walkway, we'll probably have very similar types of things with, the incentive of no smoking in the parks with the intention of just put it away type of thing. Okay. So just let council know that's on our horizon.
Great. Councillor Ryan.
Yes, thanks, Mr. Mayor. I have 2 questions. I was wondering what the heading traffic meant in the stats by hours, and then also I would like to know, second question, these are the events. What was the outcome of those events? Were tickets given, warnings given, were tickets paid, were tickets outstanding, all those sort of things?
I think that's a good question, because I know we're handing out lots of tickets. And I wonder if at the end of the season, at the end of the year, if we would see a compliance to the number of tickets written and the number of tickets paid, or the number of tickets that are legally contested, or just, you know, because I think that would be interesting information also.
We can prepare that report. I would suggest waiting till the end of September.
Yep, sure.
Because people have a chance to dispute them, and we do have a few of them in front of the courts right now. So,
Okay.
so at the end of September, we can do up a report for council. As far as the traffic goes, that could be anything from parking in a loading zone, boat trailer parking, you know, on a street. RVs have been a problem again this year. It could be anything, parking and handicap parking stalls. Very few on overtime parking, 'cause, you know, those are the things that, you know, unless they're really in violation, like for several hours, then we tend to spend more time looking at handicap parking and safety issues.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Councilor McCord.
Thank you. I'd just like to commend the bylaw officers. I'm down there on Wednesdays at Market on Main for the last 2 months, and I think they do an excellent job. They have all of them have a very nice way of approaching people, pointing out the bylaws, and giving out warning tickets. I've seen many times. You have this you can do this, or you can do this, or this is the consequence. And I just like to commend them because I think they're doing a great job.
Yeah, and I certainly second those comments. Living right above the sailing club, and that I'll go a little bit further and even name Emerald down there. She does a very, very good job. She's a pretty tough cookie. You're not getting away. She has a very good way of getting people to comply, and then the police have been very good this year. There's a real interplay between the police and the bylaw officer, and they seem to be, when the bylaw officer needs a little more beef, the RCMP are there, sometimes two of them, and just being supportive and sending that all around message out there about what is allowed or what is not. So it's been I think it's been a great summer for bylaw enforcement. I mean, I know it's been busy, but they've done a great job. So could we have a motion to receive that report, please? Rhodes, McCordoff, all in favor. It has been received. That goes to under business 5, landfill cover tender. Mr. Remanko, please.
Thank you, Mayor Wells. Landfill operation requires the transfer of material to create additional cell space and uses the excavated material to cover old cell area. There's an opportunity to blend other materials into the cover material. This project was approved as a $50,000 budget item in the 2013 capital plan. If all contingencies are used, this project, as tendered by Superior Excavating, will be $2,920 over budget. The minor shortfall can be made up from Public Works operating funds. In terms of implications from the community, continued smooth operations at a landfill, the no organizational impacts. The budget, again, would come, $2,920 would come from operations. The significant dates, immediate award will result in work being completed in this budget year. And the options as presented include awarding the Stage 1 landfill cover contract to Superior Excavating in the amount of $52,920. Option 2, award Stage landfill cover contract to OK Excavating in the amount of $93,285.15. And number 3 is cancel the project for the year. And the administration recommends option number 1.
Council's wishes, please. Councilor Rhodes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll move option number 1.
Thank you. And Councilor Ryan on the second. Any discussion on that? Councilor Rhodes, please.
Thanks again, Mr. Mayor. Just a quick comment. It's unbelievable how two businesses can look at the same thing and see such vastly different information and provide I'm just astounded the $41,000 difference in the costs, and that always makes me really suspicious about things, and maybe somebody missed something, but I'm not going to suggest that at this point, so I would speak in favor of that motion.
Okay. Any further comments? All in favor? Opposed? That is carried. The addition on the agenda, I'll turn over to Councillor Rhodes, please.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Council and staff, for letting me butt in on this meeting at the last minute. But last Thursday at the RDUS at the Regional District of Okanagan-Similkameen meeting, I'm feeling pretty passionate that there was a decision made that was wrong and inappropriate, and I kind of wanted to bring it forward at this time with just a little bit of an explanation, and at the end of it I will have an ask. Anybody that's ever been to the Okanagan, and particularly the South Okanagan, will know that the Channel Parkway in Penticton is a tremendous tourist attraction. People float down that channel and have a great time and get sunburns and have, you know, just a generally good time. Huge tourist attraction. I don't want to talk about that at all. What I want to talk about is the trailway that parallels that channel walkway down there. And for the past few years, I'm not sure exactly how many years, the Penticton Indian Band has paid the cost of maintenance on that trail. I'm going to round these numbers off. I believe it was around $40,000 a year. And they do own that property outright. It's not shared, or it is used by the community, but they are the sole owners of that property. And it is part of our trail program that we're all hoping that will begin at the border and run north up to Summerland and all that kind of thing. So it's an important part of what we do in the regional district. Some time ago, they went to the city of Penticton and the regional district and asked them to share in the costs of the maintenance on that. And there was a formula worked out, and the staff came to the board of directors at the regional district. And last Thursday, it was voted in favor that all of the communities in the regional district, including our municipality, will share in the maintenance costs of that. There is a formula that's worked out, way too complex for me to even, and it's kind of not important. It's just that we will use budget money from Osoyoos to pay for a portion of the maintenance on that part of the trailways. And you know, our mayor and this council, you know, we've worked hard over the years to really strengthen our relationship with the RDUS communities, particularly all over in Penticton. You know, we've participated and supported where and when possible, and many of the projects, you know, like the new challenge races coming up, we've been right on board with it, supporting. You know, we're looking for volunteers, and you know, I just kind of think that decision last Thursday may have jaded our relationship a little bit. While the board was being pitched, the new protocol agreement with the Osoyoos Indian Band and all the other member communities was brought up, and this decision was going to strengthen that. And I asked myself, well, what about our relationship with the city of Penticton and that kind of thing, you know? And I don't like these kind of barriers being thrown up. I'm a huge supporter, and I think everybody else is in Osoyoos, of, you know, capital projects that involve us in important matters in the regional district. It's our mandate to participate in those kind of things. Projects that improve things like the trailways, I'm fine with that. But you know, in our trail system that we have in our community, we have a lot of maintenance that goes on there. We've never asked anybody for any help. I don't think it's ever been brought up. We took a significant chunk of our resort municipality funding some years ago, and not only did we maintain, but reconditioned a significant portion of it. And you know, we never went anywhere and asked anybody, and we're only a community of 4,900 people. So, you know, I just think that you know, that decision that was made last Thursday was done. There is no policy in place. there's absolutely no documentation or historical evidence to support the decision that was made, and I'm not really happy about it. And I think that the RDUS has set a very, very troublesome precedent here, where they may start to get asked from every aspect of the regional district for assistance in all kinds of projects. So my initial reaction with talking with the mayor was, well, maybe we should just go there next time and ask for a bunch of money, and they better be prepared to buck up. But I think at this point, until we actually get to that point and do that, I would like to ask council, and I know we hate to, you know, just drop motions in out of nowhere, to allow our staff or some member, perhaps even the CAO, to craft a letter of protest that we send to the regional district, clearly outlining our unhappiness with this decision last Thursday. And you know, I feel strongly about it, and yes, I'm pitching everybody in the room here to get on board with this, but you know, it just didn't sit well, and it doesn't feel good, and it's not a spiteful or angry position I'm taking, because it was several days ago, lots of time to get over it, you know, some sober second thoughts, so to speak, and so that would be my ask, and if we have to formulate that in the way of a motion, I'd be prepared to do that now.
I'd be happy if you put that motion on the floor that we do send a letter. It was just the wrong decision. It was just, when they're wrong, and that was a wrong decision that was made, and hopefully it's not going to have repercussions that undermine relationships. Because you know, there is a lot of support there, and they're always looking for a regional program or a regional project, or gas tax. We're just going through one. Looking at the gas tax and this is a rebate from the government, and looking at doing something regional. We are a regional district, but if they're going to undermine it with this kind of silliness, then it's not going to go anywhere. So yes, we could have that motion. Jeanette, do you?
I'm still working on it.
Okay. Just that we show our dissatisfaction. And I'm going to second that.
I'm going to try this.
Okay.
See what you think. Okay, resolved by Councillor Rose and seconded by Mayor Wells, and resolved that a letter be sent to the RDOS expressing unhappiness and concern with the decision to include Osoyoos as a paying partner in the channel walkway cleaning.
Mm-hmm. Maintenance. Further input, Councillor Ryan, please.
Yes, thank you. Yes, I think that's very good. I support it. I think we need to point out to them that not only is it not something that we benefit from, but as a result of that, that it is contrary to the working principles of the regional district, and you know, the charge back to the area that that benefits. I would also suggest that an appointment be made with, you probably have one already, with the Minister, Honorable Coralie Oakes, the Minister of Community, and I think this should be one of the things we talk to her about. And I think as we see what effect it has, I think we should discuss in future, if necessary, some kind of court action against the regional district.
Okay. Yikes.
Yes, that's right.
Interesting point. Thank you. And I guess just while we maybe we'll just close this item off first. Any further comments on this, Councillor Plant? You're fine. Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. While we're on this topic, I also have a dissatisfaction with the weighted balloting system. And on financial matters, all the communities get a weighted ballot. Penticton having, I believe, 9 and 9/18. I don't have it right in front of me, so I just have to speak a little bit off the cuff. We get 2. And we are just shy of being 10% funders. So we put up 9.8% of the money for the whole regional district, and it's a whack of money. And so if we were looking at the weighted ballot, you would think that we would have roughly 5 votes out of the, I believe it's 53 is the total. You'd think we'd have roughly 10% or maybe a little bit under or something. We get 2. So again, there's this large unjustness that is out there. And I think Councillor Rhodes, he's been attending for a while now as the delegate. He went in there thinking that maybe I was just a little off on how I perceived it. Well, he's been there for half a dozen meetings, and he's just joined right in. He's going, you know, there's some things there that need to be corrected, and maybe we can do it through a review process with through the regional district and look at some of the governance issues out there and have them refreshed and revisited. Those numbers are probably older than the hills and have never been addressed. And maybe it is time to address them and have people just paying closer to their share would make me a lot happier. So we'll see where that goes, and thanks for that resolution, Councillor Rhodes. That is the end of the business section.
Vote on that, Mr. Mayor. We should vote.
We didn't vote?
Oh, we did.
Yeah.
We did?
Yeah.
Where was I?
You voted for it.
Did I? I guess it was your post-vote lecture that I was intent on.
Thank you. Under the reports, the regular general Sun Bowl Arena and payroll accounts, cash requirements to August 19th, representing balances in the following accounts. Amounts to general account, I guess we're sending all our taxes in. General account, $2,269,522.23. Sun Bowl in the amount of $10,994.46. Payroll accounts in the amount of $162,301.92. Any comments on those? They will be adopted by consensus. Building permits, another very, very slow month. Nothing new. Total of 58,000. Total to date for 2013, 2,143,000. Total to date for a year ago, 2012, 3,595,000. So down significantly over 2012. I sure hope that this can get turned around. Committee reports. There is a report from the EDAC committee. Some minutes to be received. Any comments on those minutes? Councilor McCordock.
Thank you. Just one comment is that since May the 8th, 2013, we have had another meeting in July, so these are a little bit outdated.
Okay.
But if we haven't done them, I certainly so move that we accept them.
Okay. So a motion to receive and seconded by Councillor Ryan. All in favor? They have been accepted. CAO report, Mr. Remenko, please.
Thank you, Mayor Wells. Just a few of the activities that the administration has been involved in. It's been a little bit of a larger period of time here since we last reported. Starting in community services, just to let you know, the Sun Bowl Arena has been very busy since the ice has been installed. Some of the activities include the BC Amateur Referees Camp, the Osoyoos Hockey Camp, Ringhead Camp, Coyotes Identification Camp, and right now the Audrey Bakewell Skating Camp is running. The Splash Park is in operation. We're just in the throes of trying to complete some of the work in and around the Splash Park, including the installation of sod, and we've got a couple quotes, and I think the sod's supposed to be in this week. And we're also getting quotes on fencing, and eventually the washrooms will get painted, and new fixtures and new doors. And we propose that we will be bringing an updated budget to council at the next meeting. Staff did a full inspection with the the Municipal Insurance Association representative, including the Splash Park. Summer Playground Program, total attendance was 946 kids, 120 different participants, for an average attendance of 34 kids per day. Getting some signs put out at the BMX track, as well as some benches and garbage cans. In terms of corporate services, goose management, special permit from Environment Canada. We have now permit to kill up to 10 individual adult geese per week out of season in specified areas. A report will be coming to Council September 3rd. Unsightly property complaints still taking a large amount of time. We've been monitoring the public washroom caretaker and bylaw enforcement contracts during the busy season, and we're working on some personnel policies. In planning and development, staff are processing development permit applications for a new restaurant, which we dealt with earlier, and also for an 8 detached strata units at 4205 Oleander Drive. The director approved a development permit for a building at 6311 Jack Pine with 4 motel rooms on the ground floor that will serve as an annex to the Sahara Courtyard Inn with 2 residential floors above. And the community planner is personally surveying downtown merchants to obtain their input on the parking sufficiency in the downtown core and any improvements that are needed. Public Works, lagoon storage, there's a difference of 135,000 cubic meters less in storage August 1st this year compared to last year, and that's good news. And also our sun appears to be shining for the next while, so that draw will continue. A new storm system in the laneway has been repaired, and the areas in question have been ground and repaved so that to redirect the water into the catch basins. And also we sent out an inquiry on the Y property for the town tree projects, and I think we received only one proposal back. So Ron just told me about that today, so we'll be reviewing that. Some interesting information: traffic counts on Lakeshore Drive, July 5th to August 2nd, 98,346 for an average of 3,642 vehicles per day. August 2nd to August 6th, 18,045 vehicles for an average of 4,511 vehicles per day. And the 115th street lighting project has been given to Bylaw Electric and South Okanagan Concrete. There were no bids received when this was originally tendered. In terms of the CAO, working through information and contract issues with Progressive Waste in relation to implementing the Materials Management BC. Also having discussions with Ministry of Transport on stormwater management on our main street and reconstruction of Cottonwood Drive Corner. I don't know if you've noticed, but our new crosswalk timers have been installed by Watermark. That was done on a 50-50 split with MOT. We're having discussions with residents and Public Works over Northwest sewer odors and strategies to address. And I'm just in the process of looking. We're going to be responding to people, just providing them an update on all the activities that we're involved in to try and deal with those odor issues. We're also instituting a new customer satisfaction survey. This has been developed it'll be developed in hard copy and online as well, and we'll be rolling that out probably next week. So people will have the opportunity to provide us feedback on some of the activities and performances of the staff. So I thank you very much.
Great, thank you. That's a good report. Can you go way back to the beginning of the report on Oleander 4205? Did you say there was a building permit coming?
Did I say Oleander?
8-unit condos?
Yes, 4205 Oleander Drive facing the lake. 8 detached strata units.
That's one that's been sitting there for a number of years.
Oh, that's okay.
Isn't it?
Okay.
The one at the bottom of the hill.
That's who built the strata beside me then. That's those folks, I think.
Is it?
Yes. Okay. So it's going ahead. Great.
That's good.
That'll change those numbers around. Anything from council? Motion to receive, please. Councillor Ryan Plant, all in favor. That report has been received. Going to councillors' reports. I better push the button. What's the, oh, here, no, that's the old one. Oh, no, here we are. Councillor McCordoff.
Thank you. So it's been kind of a busy 4 weeks since we've been here, and several things on in town. A couple of them I'd like to report on. One was the street dances. There were 2 of them held down in front of the senior center with MC Clint, and they were very well received, lots of fun, and kudos to the Better at Home, who I think were involved, and all the seniors who were out there, and Clint, who was a fabulous MC. So that was a very good event, 2 events to have after Francis and Larry at Home Hardware had been doing it for 26 years. So good for them. Attended Romancing the Desert the other day up at the Desert Center, and that was a very nice event with, again, lots of volunteers and lots of people helping to make that a good money raiser to help with our you know, the desert plants and animals around here. The next one is we're very happy to welcome Lauren Sherwood, who has just been announced as the BC ambassador, one of 3 for the next year. And of course, we thought that she was an excellent ambassador for Osoyoos, so I'm sure she will be for BC now. The business walks that were held, where Chamber of Commerce and Destination Osoyoos and the Economic Development and Town Council went out and got some information. It was all coordinated, and thank you to Mr. Romanko and the town staff. They did an excellent job of putting together a report with graphs. That was sent out in e-news. It was also on the town website now, if anybody wanted to have a look at it, with some suggestions of ideas that could be worked on over the next while, some of the main items that were mentioned. And if anybody doesn't have that online, they can certainly come into the front office and ask for a hard copy of that. And another thing, on July the 31st, the Osoyoos Times published a very good article on the local libraries, and an excellent article on says local libraries undergoing an electronic revolution, and lots of digital books, lots of ideas. There are still many people who like to go into the library and get hard copies, but it's also certainly available that you can get magazines and that you can get digital and things for your ebooks. So if you haven't read that, go back and read it, because it's an excellent article talking about the libraries, which we all pay into. And the last thing is that on August the 24th, that's this Saturday, at the same time that the Market on Main is on, the Friends of the Library are having a book sale. And so it will be right outside here by the fountain. Please come out and support that. Books are at a very good cost, and you can also support the market at the same time. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor McCordoff. Councillor Rhodes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I don't have a report because that little piece in the business section was actually my report, and I wanted to get it back in there in case there was a motion. But I wanted to congratulate Lauren. I've never seen a young person work so hard and engage so many people in that project, and she got to where she is through that hard work and the engagement of her family and our community and everybody else. I'd also like to thank and congratulate the City of Penticton and everybody that was involved in their Peach Fest over the last few days. And why do I want to do that? Well, lots of times we forget about how much of an economic driver that is in the Okanagan. I'm aware of 4 families that spent the entire week in our community staying here, commuting back and forth to take part in a lot of the activities in Penticton. So, there's spin-off, and we get a bit of it here. And in addition, I don't know whether they did it on purpose or not this year, but lots and lots of music events that have been happening in Penticton over the last little while, and I'll say it over and over and over again to anybody that'll listen to me. Music is where it's at in our communities, and you know, the sooner that we get on board with it and start having those things in our community, we won't really see any benefit until we really get on board with that. I think 12 music events that they had there, right from some huge headliners in their event center to people strumming guitars in street corners. It was just a great, great experience. So congratulations to them. And my last congratulation also goes to the city of Penticton for putting together this challenge race that's coming up very soon. And I'm going to say 1,400 entrants was the last that I heard about 4 or 5 days ago. And what a great thing to have happen in the south of Okanagan. And good for them, putting the Ironman behind them and getting on board with the challenge. So congratulations to them for that.
Great, thanks, thanks, Councillor Rhodes. Councillor Ryan, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, I just want to say another word about the Friends of the Library sale that Councillor McCortoff mentioned. It will be happening this Saturday. As she said, you can come to the market and also do some shopping for books. And there's nothing like a good book that you can hold in your hand and turn the pages of and put a little marker in there. Anyway, it starts at 9 o'clock and it goes to 1, and the prices are absolutely right. You just won't get deals like that anywhere else. Our group of friends, as small as it is, has suffered this year from some blows, and a couple of the people were victims of that terrible car accident a week or so ago. And so there is a need for some help in moving the books on Friday afternoon from the Sonora Center to this area, getting them ready for the Saturday morning. So if anyone is free in late Friday afternoon and wishes to get a little exercise without going to the gym, they can give me a call, and we'd love to have you. The other thing is that I attended a meeting by the South Okanagan Samokameen Foundation, Community Foundation. It's based in Penticton, but it has, of all things, an Osoyoos fund in it. And they are very interested in trying to get some of the communities in the regional district to be advisors and supportive of community funds for their own community. So to that end, they had this meeting to talk a little bit about what they were doing and how we could get involved. And additionally, they have an annual, I think it is, Community Foundations of Canada survey, and that they participate in, and it is on our website. I saw in one of the Main Street stores a nice poster about it. But you can go to our website at osoyoos.ca, and right under current news, it's the first item. If you click on that, it asks your opinion, and it's very quick. I mean, it's you choose from a menu of about 5 different things. Are we doing really well, or awesome, or not so good, or we're on the right track? You know, very easy to fill in, and under a whole bunch of different headings. So please go there. I've invited them to come when this is all assembled, to come to speak to us and to possibly, I think they want to have a public meeting as well in the Osoyoos. So those are 2 things that I wanted to call to your attention, as well as to congratulate Lauren Sherwood. It's just wonderful. And I think Councillor Rhodes really said it all. You know, it was by dint of hard work that she got where she is, and so that's wonderful. So I talk about hard work. I want to return to Friday afternoon. We're going to move books, so if you want to be a part of that, give me a call. Thanks.
Thanks, Councillor Ryan, and I will see if that fits in.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Plante, please.
Thank you, Mayor. So I did take part in many of the events that the other councillors talked about. The street dance, I had a chance to go with my daughters. My 3-year-old loves to dance, so we were out there. It was hard to pull her away. So they did a great job. We tried everything at the snack table, the popcorn, the candy, and everything. So they just did a great job. So I want to thank them for all the work they did in those, and my 3-year-old loved it. So and that's the most important thing. I also want to thank a local RCMP. So last week, I'm very disappointed in myself, but I got caught with answering my cell phone and talking on my cell phone this week. And over the last little while, we've seen some accidents have happened in the last little while around this area, fatalities. And I was very disappointed in myself. It could have been answered at any other time. We just got all carried away with how busy things are going, and I was waiting on a call, and I answered the call. And there was no reason to do it. I could have pulled over, and I could have done it then. So I want to thank him because, again, I think it brings to light that just got to be careful out there. We have a lot of traffic that comes through this town. There's no reason for us. There's all different types of options, hand-free options, things that I have that I didn't use. So I'm going to thank him, and disappointed in myself. Just remember that ticket's not cheap. Even if you pay for it ahead of time, which you get dollars off, it's $167. So don't answer your phone. Just pull over. I'm going to go back to our soft opening of the splash park. That was just before the long weekend, so I can't even think of the date, actually. But what a great turnout we have. Lauren was there, even our BC ambassador was there. So there you go, she's putting in her work. So it was fantastic to have the people out there. Miss Cheryl from the daycare made cupcakes. Barry, our CAO, was there. We had council there. We had Brad from Rec Tech. And this was just our soft opening. We had plenty of kids playing in there. It was a perfect day to jump in the splash park. So although it was our soft opening, it showed it showed me that we did the right thing. We made the right decision. And the other thing that shows me that is those average 34 kids at the Cactus Center that go through our summer programs on average per day. And this gives them another opportunity to use that for their facility, for the programs that are coming out of the Cactus Center. So again, there's so many people that I could say thank you to, and I'll probably wait till we do the grand opening in spring. So if people are looking at it and going, was that it? That's not it. It's got a few other things that are going to be done, and one of the exciting things is we're still into the fundraising mode. And while we were this morning in our committee of the whole meeting, I got a phone message, and I didn't answer it. We were in a meeting. I wasn't driving, but we were in a meeting. So I checked it. It was Brianna Simchuk, and she's the Human Resource and Marketing Coordinator for Tim Hortons. And so every year they do what they call their Smile Cookie, and she sent me this today. So buy a cookie for $1, help make a difference. Buy a Tim Hortons Smile Cookie from September 23rd to the 29th, and the entire proceeds will be donated to the Osoyoos Splash Park. Wow. And so Tim Hortons is once again running the Smile Cook sale. It will be available at all South Okanagan Tim Hortons stores, again, from September 23rd to the 29th. And they have some really great ideas here for you. So instead of maybe just buying one, maybe you have Smile Cookie Day for your business. Or maybe you have Smile Cookie Staff Customer Appreciation Day. So there's ways that we can order this, and we're just going through the marketing, but I was really excited to hear that. I can tell you that last year they raised over $11,000 with the Smile Cookie. And so very exciting. We want to work with these corporate companies. They want to be a bigger part of our communities and some of the projects. So to approach them and get this back is fantastic. So I can't be more excited. So that's it for my report.
Thanks, Councillor Plant, and probably the person with the biggest smile would be our Director of Finance, Jim Zackel. He would be very appreciative to see that funding coming in, and that's great news on the splash park. And we did that soft opening just to get kids in water. That was the target, and we had that date set from early on, and the team that put it together, a lot of Councillor Plant in there, a lot of Director Gerald Davies in there. Really working together as a 1-2, and brought that forth. I just got a few things I'd like to comment on. One of them was, again, Romancing the Desert. This was the 14th Romancing the Desert. I'd be there for every one except the very first one. And on that day, I think it was Ruth Schiller's granddaughter, who is the daughter of a friend of mine, her son, and there was a wedding that day. So other than that, I've been there for all of the romancing and taking the shuttle bus home, because people did imbibe in a bit of wine up there. Taking the shuttle bus home, what was really of interest was it was all tourists. We dropped 4 off at the Super 8. We dropped another 4 off at a B&B on 89th. We dropped another 4 off at Haynes Point, and then Martha and I got off. Well, we got off right in front of her house, and then on the bus there was one Osoyoos couple, the Shobitars, but the rest of the people, there was another 4 people on there, and they were going to not the hall, where the Quiznos is over there, Best Western. They were going to the Best Western. All tourists coming to experience romancing the desert, and I never really saw that as staying in accommodations, eating meals, and doing all that. So I thought that was pretty darn neat to experience that. Also went to an opening of Cullinan Wines in Oliver Winery. Wow, what a show! This would be Don Triggs, if you recognize the name, as in Jackson Triggs. He's the Triggs guy there. So he's opened up this brand new winery and really into the science of changing how we grow grapes, and some of it not even being on wires, some of it in a Spanish French style of just bush vines, and people are going to go up like mountain goats and pick these grapes and things. It's pretty neat, and of course the winery itself, you're looking down the valley towards Osoyoos Lake and Osoyoos. It's very, very spectacular, really neat. Attended the Tumbleweed Film Festival in Oroville, and the 2 years previous it had one night in Osoyoos, and they dropped Osoyoos this year. So they had 3 nights. They had Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, and there was a local connection here. Sharon Roberts, daughter of Sally and Jerry Roberts, she was a producer in it. So it was very good. It came runner-up. It came second, and there was just some very, very unique and neat films down there. So I talked to the individual that put it all together, and I believe we can bring it back to Osoyoos for next year. In fact, I'm sure we can. He would really like to come back, so we'll just start doing some work and putting a venue together, because it's starting to get some fairly good recognition. So it was very good, and again, it ties into things to do and where Councillor Rhodes was coming from, and I really truly believe we're going to have music here. It's going to happen next year. We're going to have some music, some concerts, some film festival. And when I look at how things get started, maybe this Osoyoos Idol, it certainly seems to be gaining attention and significance. A lot more people attending, and maybe that's one of the things. But we are starting to get things happening in the town, because I think you just have to have it if you're a tourist community. People are coming. Things are expensive. They want action. They want to see stuff. They want to be entertained. So there's a lot of good people in town that are working towards that. There's a couple different committees that are out there, and I'm positive we'll see some music and some more things to do in Osoyoos in that time frame. I think that'll do. Looking for a motion to adjourn. Rhodes Plant. All in favor? Good afternoon, folks. Bye for now.